It is already time for Black Clover to pull out another reveal in this arc, and that is the fact that there are more demon swords than we know, and the fact is that Asta is not using them correctly. He is not even close to using the true power of the anti-demon swords at all. Neither has he been able to throw the absorbing nor throw a slaying sword as Leet finally coming out of that comatose trance that he's been in. Seemingly now we get to see the true fear of the elves, and this is Asta and Yuno's last attempt to try and do anything, because after this they've got to get out of there. They're out of gas already. So we see from last year that obviously with Asta and Yuno's combination with their spirit drive and his black bull, a bull avenger, I believe it's called, the technique, and it's they are able to take on the elves of someone like Klaus and also the Golden Dornbrat, and it's if they're going full stop being able to take these out. And you see immediately with this, after seeing them fall down, this is kind of the thing that brought Lee into more of this light, where it's he's finally now awakened, seeing comrades fall. This was his trigger, as same thing what was happening with Yuno is he had a trigger as well to actually snap him out of this. However, this involves a third sword coming out, and this one completely different from what we've seen from anything that Asta's had. And you see from this, although we just see the sword just appear just out of nowhere, same time as how Nero was when he appeared with Asta's second blade. This time this appears before Elite, and this one's different. This is more from when I was looking at the design of this one, I was okay, this one is a one-handed sword, a lot like his second from what we got seen with his absorbing sword. This one though is a lot different in style of the way, where this one the actual blade tip is more curved. This is more kind of something that you see from a great sword. It's a very old medieval style from a blade. Also with how he's got from his original demon slaying sword is a more I believe it's got the actual hill of it's more like a Zweihanda, I believe it's called, or one of the blades on there. It's a very old type of greatsword. However, it's been more reforged into a one-handed blade, and the actual properties of this thing we do not know yet. However, when Leet touches it, when he awakens, the whole black dust, kind of the ash that we've been seeing on this blade, starts turning white. It starts glowing, and it's what the hell is happening with this blade? And the more terrifying thing is if he can use as Leet was the original user of these weapons, we've been seeing right there, he touches Asta's absorbing sword, and he takes that from him without any it was with complete ease, and then that sword starts changing. So clearly it means that even though Asta's the owner of the grimoire, it shows as well with his body, he is now using the true power of these blades. You see he is able to take on Yuno with his spirit drive, something of that power of the caliber with Spirit Storm, and he absorbs it into the blade. And seeing this is actually what these blades are actually capable of, as he's able to use it, and he's able to send back these strikes into Yuno. So we saw a little bit when he was doing this with Mars, when he kind of when Asta was fighting Mars, he was able to use that a tiny bit with the war strikes that he had as well, which he was combining with Noel, all of this stuff. And it's now we're seeing what is truly capable. We don't know what this third sword can do as of yet. We don't see him really just strike with it and that's it. But now we know, one, there's more swords coming into this, which was a thing for a while, where it's is Asta going to get another sword? Is there going to be a changing of forms? Is there going to be an upgrade? And well, it seems there's a clear difference whether or not it takes elf blood to awaken these blades. Because the difference is we're seeing Elite touch them, and it's how the fuck, why are they glowing? What's happening with them? And it's no, he's actually activating their true power, and it's this is now coming out this dormant form from them, which is a lot. I'm just so curious what exactly he's just he's going to be doing with this. But the fact that he is able to just take on the just it's nothing on there, it's okay, this is the problem right now. And the fact that it's Yuno and Asta are pushing themselves to the limit. Even Asta's mentioning in the chat, he's I can't handle my I believe he even addresses it as like his black form on there, but it's like, no, like I call it anti-demon anyway, like on there. He's like, I can't hold on for this much longer. He's like, what the hell is happening to my sword? Why is it, like, what's going on? Like, he's so goddamn confused. And even, like, you see, like, Milosa's trying, like, at least to help on there, but it's like, she's exhausted on there. And the fact is, like, Laia just doesn't give a fuck. He's like, well, this is wrapped up. So I'm kind of curious to see more what's going to go on next, since we've only seen, like, that little screenshot of him originally using the blades. So now as the question is, like, maybe if Julius, if he actually kept some records, because we've seen him, like, mention the blades before, but it's like, maybe he, like, when he dies, he's like, he asks, like, someone, like, on there, or at least he had a will in case something happened. It was like, maybe it's now time for Asta to learn more about what's going on about his past and what's going on with these blades. Maybe Leet might finally explain something, because it's like, now we need to know more about these blades. How many of these things exist? What are they? Like, we know that one's obviously the demon, like, sealing, and the other one's the demon slaying. What is this one then? Is it, like, is this the demon away? Like, that's clearly where we might be going, where it's like, it seems like, I don't know how many personally they're gonna be, but there could be potentially, like, I would like to say, a ballpark 6 to 8 is somewhere where I'd like to say. Maybe there might be, like, the 13 blades or something like that, or, like, maybe perhaps, like, it could be 4, where it's like 4 of them representing obviously the diamond, the Clover kingdom, like Spade, like hearts, like it could all, like, maybe represent 4 swords. It could be there, but I'd like to put 6 so far and all that, because it's like you got those forms, and then maybe they make another blade, and then there's a one after that, you know, like, like, there's so much to go on from there, like, with a lot of this chapter, and it's like, Jesus Christ, like, Black Clover, that stuff. And also, as well, as I have been mentioning it every week and all that, for once Black Clover hasn't got the issue with the art, definitely from this week, which was a very nice improvement, and it definitely does help a lot more with the chapter, and I'm glad that, at least with a bit of the Golden Week and all that, Tabata was able to actually get it finished on time. I will say, though, like, I see other authors were suffering from it, so it's just something to do with, like, how Shonen Jump just fucking pushes them for time, and I'll just keep mentioning it every time and all that. Like, once this arc is finished, I want him to take a break. Just straight up, I want him to take a month off and just recharge the batteries. But overall, I fucking love the chapter, really excited more. Like, now it's like, we've got another blade on our hands. Now Leet can actually use these weapons. Asta's arsenal is, like, the only thing that he has, and now that is being taken away from him, whereas, like, Asta's just lost half his firepower just by grabbing the sword, and we don't know with his grimoire that he's able to access it. And now it's begging the question, it's like, okay, yeah, Nero keeps appearing, like, every time when these blades appear, and it's like, we knew already from the start that he had a connection to him, and obviously with the blade, it's like, what the hell is he, like, what the hell is Nero's deal now? What exactly is he, like, there's a lot to question on there, but I think we will probably be getting some answers about Nero, or at least the blades, sometime soon. So we'll see whether or not, like, Nero's whole duty is that he's the keeper of these blades, or, like, he is somewhere, like, attached to the demon and somehow, or, like, the spirit, or fucking the original king. There's gonna be some crazy shit with him, so we'll be looking forward to that when that time comes. But that is all from me. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you guys, though, next time.